Hello everyone and welcome to Catholic Truth and welcome to another book recommendation series video. In this video we're going to be giving the best books to refute atheism, agnosticism, and to give answers to those people who challenge you or who have questions of the faith, maybe have left their faith themselves. And we're going to be giving these books which will help you and strengthen your faith, to give you answers, to give you a deeper understanding of theism and help you to be able to explain it to other people. And if you haven't seen our other series yet, we have all best book recommendations on apologetics, the best inspirational books, spiritual books, love and relationships, church history, you name it. Check out our series. We will link them all down below. If you are looking to grow in knowledge of your faith, these are the books for you. Hello everyone, my name is Brian Mercier and I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm the president of Catholic Truth and we want to help you to know your faith, love your faith, and live your faith with purpose and passion, and even be able to defend it and be set on fire for it. In this particular video, we are going to be talking about atheism and refuting atheism and people who attack our faith, agnostics, people who just, have questions, or maybe even just cynics. But if you haven't yet, check out our website, thecatholictruth.org, which is soon to be just catholictruth.org. If you would like a Catholic speaker coming to your parish, if you would like merchandise or t-shirts or anything else, please check it all out below. Of course, I have to recommend the best book I can even think of first, the one that I wrote, no bias. This book is called Why Do You Believe in God? Every confirmation retreat I give, I ask the teens, why do you believe in God? And they all say, I don't know, because my parents do. Do you have any proof? No. So you believe in something you have no proof for? Yes. Do you believe in the Easter Bunny? No. Why? You don't have proof for that either. So I try to challenge them in their faith. I try to challenge them to understand what they believe. And this book is fantastic because this is really the product of people asking me questions for 20 years about the faith, and me looking up all the answers and coming to the fact that there's really good answers to our questions. So this is 15 real conversations I've had with atheists, skeptics, non-believers, and people who have left their church and have questions. And so it's questions about God, Jesus, science and religion, the Crusades. So its goal really is to answer as many questions as possible from people who have common objection. You hear them all the time, but how do you respond? This is the book for you. And we even have people as young as 6th grade reading this book multiple times. We've had people in high school read it up to 5 times because they say that it really helps them to answer their peers and it helps them to answer the questions and understand the faith themselves. So we highly recommend it. You can find it on Amazon or other platforms. The next book I recommend is Trent Horn's Answering Atheism. It's a pretty well-to-do manual on how to make the case for the existence of God. And it talks about, it's pretty basic. So it starts out talking about what is an atheist? What's the difference between an atheist and agnostic? And how do we know? And what's a theist? So he starts defining everything. So if you kind of want to just know it all, it's all in this book. Then he gets into popular arguments for the existence of God, popular objections from atheists and agnostics and different things like that. And he tells you how to answer them. And it's a pretty thorough treatment of the subject on a simple level that everybody can understand. There are going to be several books I recommend here that are deep, that are much deeper than this one, and maybe more difficult to understand, although their arguments are really good. But I highly recommend Trent Horn's book, Answering Atheism, which you can find on Catholic.com. Speaking of deep books, the next book I would like to recommend that I really liked a lot was New Proofs for the Existence of God by Father Robert Spitzer. Father Robert Spitzer, if you don't know, is a brainiac scientist, Catholic priest. I came across him just on, I don't remember if it was Oprah, it was some sort of big talk show like that, and he was discussing with Stephen Hawking. He was discussing with, I believe, Deepak Chopra, and all about the existence of God. And Stephen Hawking was trying to talk about how the universe can come about from nothing. And Father Spitzer said, sorry, Mr. Hawking, but that's impossible. 0 plus 0 is 0, and 100,000 zeros plus 0 is 0. Nothing plus nothing is nothing, and if there was only nothing, nothing in the beginning, there would be nothing now. You can't get something from nothing, Mr. Hawking. And I felt like he schooled Stephen Hawking right on national TV, but this is a great book, very deep, very complex, over my head in some ways, because I'm not super deep in physics and different deep sciences, which he goes through in this book. But if you do love science and you do love a deeper background from a scientific worldview and a philosophical worldview, definitely check this out. It's full of information from beginning to end. It will definitely help you to answer those deep questions of faith. If you would like a simpler version of all of that, I would recommend The Language of God by Francis Collins. The only reason I recommend this book is because people like Richard Dawkins, who hate religion, who hate Christianity and the existence of God, they even have respect for Francis Collins. He is the one who found the human genome. Like, he's brilliant scientist. He's not Catholic, but he's brilliant. And he believes in science and religion and shows how you can fuse the two together. And it's a simple read and it's really good. Some of my favorite books come from Edward Feser. Anything by Edward Feser is going to be great because he's a brainiac. He discusses with atheists pretty much full time and critics and people who condemn the faith. And he's extremely deep, especially in the philosophical realm. Thomas Aquinas, which I will recommend to you right now, is probably where most people get their arguments from the existence of God. You've all heard of the 5 famous proofs for the existence of God by St. Thomas Aquinas. It's in this book, and this is the first book in the Summa. There's 5 volumes, and he goes through these 5 proofs, which preceded the new proofs. These 5 proofs have really been not disproven in over 1,000 years. They still hold up today. And atheists really don't even try to grapple with them. Even Richard Dawkins only, I think, attributes 1.5 pages to try to debunk these. But he ignores the fact that Thomas Aquinas goes on for another 100 to 200 pages to explain who God is, to explain it all. He opens it up and goes deeper. Nobody, I don't even know a single atheist who has ever tried to challenge Thomas Aquinas and his view on God this deeply. So if you want a deep read, which most people can't understand and have a hard time grasping, definitely check out the Thomas Aquinas Summa Theologica. And if you want it broken down a bit more, but still deep, definitely check out this book by Edward Feser. And this book by Edward Feser, 5 Proofs for the Existence of God Explained, and also The Last Superstition. Atheism is a superstition, he says, and because they just believe that we basically came about from nothing. And so he goes through this and debunks Richard Dawkins. He debunks all of the newest atheists like Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, and he destroys their arguments. So if you're looking for deep books, check out anything by Edward Feser. And if you would like a simpler version of even those, and definitely a simpler version of this, get What is God? What is God is a synthesis of Thomas Aquinas. It breaks it down for modern everyday people like you and me and helps us to understand the question of God, apologetics. And it really sets out to ask and answer every single question you ever had about God, his nature, his essence, the Trinity, and so on. So please, if you ever want to know all the deep questions about God, check out this book. And we made a whole video interviewing this author, Kevin Vost, who is a former atheist and now a Catholic apologist. If you would like a simpler book debunking Richard Dawkins and other new atheists, I would highly recommend Answering the New Atheism, Dismantling Dawkins' Case Against God by Scott Hahn and Benjamin Weicker. This book is fantastic. I had to read it twice, but man, the information in it is really good, and he takes Richard Dawkins' arguments and really they just debunk them and show them how foolish they are and how he doesn't understand a lot of things about God or the reality of religion, philosophy, or deep concepts like that. The last book I would recommend is also by Benjamin Weicker, and it's called The Catholic Church in Science, and it's answering and exposing the questions and myths. So he answers the deepest questions about science and religion. Is the Catholic Church against science? What about evolution? What about Galileo? What about the Catholic Church's persecution, so-called, of science? What about Darwinian evolution and different things like that? He goes through them and he answers them masterfully, in my opinion. This is a fantastic book. And our honorable mention of the day is When Critics Ask. It is a beast of a book. I don't even know how many hundreds of pages it is, but it's a huge book, and it's Protestant written by two Protestant apologists, but it's very good, and it goes through all of the contradictions in the Bible. I mean, literally, book by book. They start with the contradictions atheists bring up in Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, so on, so on, so on. And then he proceeds to go through the contradictions, so-called, of the New Testament, and he shows how and why these things can be explained. For example, in Matthew, it says that Jesus healed 2 lepers, but in Luke, it says he healed 1. But we have to remember that Matthew was writing to Jews who believed in miracles, and Luke was writing to Greeks who really didn't, and they thought it was foolish. So it's going to be hard enough for them to swallow that he healed 1 person, much less 2. So we probably just simplified it for them, and it's not a contradiction. So the bottom line is this is a great book, and he has another one called When Skeptics Ask, dealing with the difficult things that atheists bring up. So if you want When Critics Ask and When Skeptics Ask, we will try to link these down in the description section below for your convenience. And please, we also have other videos on the existence of God, science, religion, the truth about Galileo, and different things like that. You can check them all out on our YouTube channel here at Catholic Truth, helping to make your life easier so you don't have to be as awkward in explaining the faith as I was many years ago. We want to help you to really know your faith, and these books will help you to know your faith. And if you're looking for just general apologetics, please check out our series in the description section below. If you want to grow in spirituality, check out our book recommendations on that. If you want to grow, if you're just starting out, you're a beginner, and you just want to grow in your faith, please check out that book series too. Or if you're just kind of at a plateau and you're depressed, anxious, you want to be inspired, check out that book series that we have. And if you hear noises in the background, we just had a new baby and she's making some noises, and I'm just recording videos through it anyway. So if you're like, what is that pig snorking in the background? It's our little baby, Gabriella. She's only a month old. I hope to introduce you to her into the world soon. And thank you for watching, everybody. And I want to wish you God's blessings. And I hope that you please share this video with others, because YouTube has nerfed our channel. Not a lot of people are seeing it anymore. We went from thousands and thousands of views on a video to just maybe merely hundreds. And so we really need help liking, sharing, and bringing this to others. That would help them, and that would help us a lot. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless.